Vinyl Communities, Jason here. Yeah, it's late. Friday / Saturday. Just cleaned a bunch of records, thought I'd do a video. Saw Chris Tunes from the Man Cave. Did jazz vinyl tag. Just a little overwhelming. I wasn't sure if I was going to do it, but you know what? I don't know. Just got inspired recently. I watched a bunch of videos. It's definitely not the jazz, most of the kind of jazz I'm gonna show. So if you never see my videos, and watching because of the jazz, it's a jazz vinyl tag. Yeah, probably not gonna see a lot of like the note and stuff, but that is just my taste. Everyone has different taste. Yeah, so I'll kick it off. What we're listening to, this is Jorge Lopez Ruiz. This is Amor Buenos Aires. This is a reissue in the U.S. reissue. The original is Argentinian. Can't remember the name of the original, but it's my favorite record by him. Does not look like a jazz cover for sure. I would think it would look like a Meters record or something, but anyways, that's what we're listening to. Dope Argentinian jazz. Let's kick it off here. What's the first question? Favorite find 2021. I've actually found a bunch of really good jazz records. So I didn't know which one to pick, but I picked this one because, well, first of all, I found it in the wild for a couple bucks, and I didn't really know it. It wasn't something I was seeking. I just bought it because actually this is the original on 20th Century. It's not like last summer. This guy had a bunch of jazz records selling $3 each, and he had a couple really bang records like Strata East. He had a couple Strata East records. I was gonna show one of those. He also had The Awakening. So I was kind of buying a bunch of records because I just didn't want to buy like the 3 records. It'd be a little suspicious, I think. So I bought a bunch of records, like 20 records. This is one of them. You know, and Ahmad Jamal is like sort of pretty hit and miss. I mean, he's got some pretty good albums. I wasn't aware of this one, and this one cooks. So I wanted to pick it because it was just a big surprise for me. It wasn't something I was looking for, and yeah, this thing's a banger. So good, high energy. I don't know. I'm trying to debate if this one's better than The Awakening. I know The Awakening's a classic, but this thing, I think maybe as an album might be better. There's probably a couple better tracks on The Awakening, but yeah. So that's my first one. That's my best Final Find 2021. Next question is reissue in 2021. So this sort of, I don't really buy reissues that much. I'll have a couple reissues in here, but this isn't. But I don't buy any of the Tone Poets or any of that stuff. I don't know. I mean, I like to find originals if I can. I have a few reissues. I really want something. But yeah. Anyways, this one. So this is not like a true reissue, I guess. This is it was released, I think in 2012, but it's just got pressed on vinyl last year, 2021. So I guess you'd call it like a reissue. This is Thiago Franca, Sambanzo. This is a Brazilian record. It's it's kind of like jazz, funk, like Afrobeat, a little bit of like traditional Bahian Brazilian sound, you know, with a lot of percussion, and yeah, the cover's just amazing. Yeah, cover's just like banging. But Thiago Franca is amazing, like my favorite jazz player, plays sax from Brazil, like contemporary. So yeah, really stoked to get that one. My favorite my reissue. New release 2021. I bought a couple jazz. I do listen to a lot of like newer jazz, not all the time, but I usually buy a handful of records every year. I picked this one. This is Oriole Peña. These guys are That's a cool label. This is kind of like a do-it-yourself kind of label. These guys, they're like small press. This is total free jazz, kind of like what the cover looks like. These guys are from, I can't remember if they're Finland or Norway, somewhere on the, it doesn't really say here, somewhere out there in Scandinavia. Yeah, really, really dope. And the cool about this thing is, yeah, so if you like free jazz, it's definitely pretty intense free jazz. The sleeve is like an inside-out sleeve, so they have like an old sleeve that they reused an old sleeve and like flipped it inside out and just printed on the inside. So that was kind of a cool concept. Never seen anything like that before. I kind of picked this one. I don't know if it was my favorite release. It was up there. I mean, but it was a new discovery for me, and I just actually. Thinking about records to do for this video, I was missing their first EP, and I just went on Discogs and just pulled the trigger on it. It was expensive, but cheaper than it's been selling, so decided to go for it. Oriole Peña IMA, I don't know. So I think I have 4 there, 2 EPs, 2 7-10 inches now, and 2 LPs. The next one, this would be number 4, sax lead session. This is Victor Assis, Brazil. This is the original on tape car. It's a Brazilian sax player. It's probably my favorite sax player. I mean, I don't know, yeah, probably up there. I mean, he's one of my favorite sax players from Brazil. Probably might be my favorite. And this is like his 4th album. And this thing's good. It's like kind of like modal, but it like kind of got the Brazilian groove. Yeah, this guy's dope. I mean, I think it's his 3rd album. I think it's his 4th album. His first 2 are extremely expensive. But actually, I like this one a lot. They're all good. The first couple are a little bit slower. Kind of like, I don't know, it's like bop or whatever. Not totally in my wheelhouse. Still good. It's just a little bit more definitely in my wheelhouse. Yeah, I highly recommend this. And this is produced by Robert Quarantine. He had a famous label. I think it was just called Quarantine. Where his album before this was on there. And there's a couple like really classic albums. I think there's only a set of 4. I have one of the reissues. I have his other one. It's called. He redid Tom Jobim's Wave album, but like jazz style. And there's another one. I think it's was it Mora? I don't know. It's like one of the best. Considered one of the best Brazilian albums. It's kind of like jazzy, sort of folky jazz, MPB jazz. Really good. Next one, this is a trumpet led session. This is I got this one last year at DJ Shadow's sale he had at Now Again, whatever it's called, Rap Cats. Yeah, it's a white label. I was looking for this one for a few years, so stoked to get that. I mean, this has the whole Mawandishi crew. This is like jazz fusion, like jazz funk, jazz fusion kind of thing. I mean, you got Bernie Maupin on the flute, sax, clarinet, and obviously Eddie Henderson on the trumpet, Billy Hart on the drums, Herbie Hancock on the Fender Rhodes, Buster Williams on the bass, Pat Gleason on the synth, and Lenny White on the drums. Also drums and percussion. Yeah, so stoked to get that one. Trumpet led. Next one, number 6, a guitar led session. This was like the first one that came to mind. It took me a while to kind of pick them, but I just kind of went back to this one. This is Joe Pass Guitar Interludes. This is the repress. I've been looking for the original. It doesn't pop up very much. It only came out a few years before this. I found this for a couple bucks, and it was like, it's kind of like an estate sale place, but they mostly like went in and repaired appliances and stuff. So they would buy like washers and dryers and fridges, but every once in a while someone's moving or whatever, and they pick up all these odds and ends. So yes, this was a great find. I knew Joe Pass because my cousin is an amazing guitar player. Has like a distinct sound. He's kind of. This is probably the only record I have I really like that's like he's the lead. I have a couple albums where he's the support, and he's fantastic. I don't know, this one's interesting. Like the first side is like almost like solo, really chill. I mean the whole thing's pretty chill, but it's more just like a solo. And then the last, and they're all called, yeah, it's like interlude, interlude 1, interlude 2, interlude 3, and then like the last track on here is where it starts to like pick up a little bit, and then side 2 is awesome. And I forget, there's someone on here that wrote the whole second side. This guy named, I don't know, something Rossman, maybe it's like Ian Rossman. And that was it. I didn't find any other credits except for he wrote a bunch of tracks on here, and that was it. But it's cool. It's like very mellow but groovy. The guitar work is insane. It kind of has a Brazilian feel. I feel like it has like those like the backup vocals, like the female harmony stuff, like you'd get in like reggae or something, you know, like it's just so good. Actually, I was noticing a lot of these records I pulled have that kind of same kind of vibe to it, so I don't know. I thought it was like a Brazilian thing, but I think it's just not a non-American thing. But anyways, I love that record. I pulled it out a lot. My wife loves it. Super chill. Like you can do like a dinner record. You can do anytime. What's the next one? A piano-led session. Yeah, so I went with this one. This is Harold Johnson's Sextet, House on Elm Street. I actually just picked up his. I think they only had 2. I just picked up the second one at a record fair in February. So this is the original green label. I think it's it's a stereo. Original stereo on the green label. Yeah, this is really good. This is, I think these guys they might be in high school. Pretty sure they're in high school. Like super young. Yeah, it's like soul jazz. But you know, not too organy or whatever. It's piano driven, but it's got a nice groove. Yeah, it's just a really good record. I think it hits a nice little sweet spot. Yeah, so I highly recommend that one. Amazing record. Picked that one up a few years ago at a record show. This next one I imagine is an organ-led session. Organ-led session. Johnny Hammond, Gambler's Life. The original on Salvation. I just love that cover. It's so DC. I kind of made a mistake. There's 2, and this is Mizell Brothers produced. He had Johnny Hammond. I think the only 2 I really connect with is this one and Gears. I think it's called Gears. And I sort of made a mistake. I preferred this one over Gears, but I like them both. And I don't know, I decided to get this one first, like, I bought this like a while ago, 4 years ago maybe. And I should have bought Gears, because Gears was not much more expensive than this, but now Gears is like costs a lot of money. If you can get one for probably under $100, but man, it was way cheaper. That I should have went with the other one first. This one's still pretty reasonably priced, and this thing just smokes. I mean, this is just a energy-filled organ. It's electric piano session. It's just fire. Just kind of like what's coming out of the guy's mouth. This next one is a trombone-led section, or tube. I don't have any tube-led, so yeah, this is one I just picked up. This is Antonio Neves. This is a new record. I think it just came out in 2021. Apagada agora e essa. Yeah, and this is on Far Out Records. I've been noticing they do a lot of like Brazilian stuff, jazz, kind of like jazz soul. And this is sort of like Latin jazz. I mean, it's like, it's got Brazilians, it's like, you know, like samba influence, so it's kind of fast-paced, groovy. It's got a little bit of an edge to it, a little bit of like, has some parts it's a little bit like avant-free, but it's just very subtle, you know, that's not like a free avant jazz record. Yeah, but I don't know, I heard this is a new discovery for me. I heard him, I don't know, he just popped up, and man, I really enjoyed. I think he only has this album. He's on another album I just bought too, but he's not like the main guy. But Yeah, cool. If you kind of like that sort of like fusiony, you know, samba groovy kind of thing, this is highly recommended. Let's see, next one. This would be jazz funk. I had a ton of. I have a huge Brazilian jazz funk record. I saw somebody show. I think they showed Root Down. I can't remember if it was that or Electric Funk, Jimmy McGriff. I was gonna go with Jack McDuff. That kind of, you know, moon rapping. That felt a little obvious. I don't know if I've seen him show that. I think someone did. So I went with this one, a little bit off the beaten path, I guess. But this is Cortex. What's the name of the album? I don't know if this is... No. Troupeau Bleu. I don't speak French. This is a reissue. This is like one of the few reissues I have. But this album is like... I just looked... It was probably when I bought this, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. This thing, the original was selling for like $400. Now it sells for like 4 figures. So, stoked to have this though. I mean, I listen to this, I pull this out fairly often. This thing just smokes, it kicks, dude. It's I don't know. And it has that same kind of feel, like it has the female kind of harmony vocal backing, but it's just super groovy and jazz funk to the core. Yeah, highly recommend. This thing's it's smooth, good, just there's nothing edgy about it. I mean, edgy. It just sounds so clean. I don't know. You hear, you're like, oh, it's like butter, dude. It's so good. Yeah, flip the record. This again, we're listening to Jorge Lopez Ruiz, bass player. Pretty sure he plays bass. Extraordinaire, Argentinian beast. Let's see. Next one here is jazz fusion. I had a bunch of jazz fusion. I had a ton of miles, but I decided I don't know. I just been wanting to listen to this record, so I was like, yes, I want to listen to this. This is Cesar Mariano CIA, NCAA. This is named Sao Paulo. He was from a group. I don't remember what group he was in. He was in like a pretty popular jazz group in Brazil. I want to say it was Tamba Trio. It escapes me now. But anyways, this is his, I guess, a solo effort. Yeah, this thing is original on RCA. I think it came out like 77. It's kind of like jazz funk fusion, but it has a little bit more of like the late 70s vibe, so I think it gives it more of like this, a fusion feel. Yeah, highly recommend this. I mean, it's kind of like all over the place. It has some softer parts, but it always kind of ends up in that kind of like groovier, kind of like fusion place. So yeah, highly recommend that. It's so good. So good. I was so happy when I got that record. Let's see. Next one is underappreciated. I don't know if it was I can't remember. I just put underappreciated artist or album. I don't know. But I just went with Airto Moriera, Natural Feelings. This is the original on Buddha. Airto Moriera, he's on like so many. He plays percussion on so many albums. I would just, probably, he is like the go-to percussion guy. I would feel like half my jazz albums, I feel like he's on it, percussion. And he started off he's a good drummer. I have a couple albums with him when he was young with Hermeto Pascual, and Hermeto Pascual is my favorite, and he's on here. But Airto Moriera, his first 2 albums, I feel like his solo work gets overlooked. I mean, it's not all great. His first 2 albums are amazing. This is his first, and his one after is awesome too. I think because they both have Hermeto Pascual on it. But yeah, this is like, kind of fusion. It's got some like parts that are a little bit like free, but again, it's just like, it's just a hint of it. It's not like, that is not the vibe, but it is the Brazilian kind of groovy sound. And it's got the backup vocal harmony stuff. I don't know. It's just a fantastic album. Ton of percussion, obviously. Hermeto Pascual. Airto Moriera. But yeah, I feel like I don't see anybody really talk about Airto or show his records. And the first 2 are definitely must-haves. Yeah, so There, that one is. Let's see. Next one is live album. I went with Jan Johansson 300,000, I guess. And I don't know. I think this might just be 300. This is from Sweden. It's a Swedish press. I really didn't know too much about him, but I saw some Dave at local bandography show his record, one of his records, like a few years ago. So I was in New York and I just saw it and I just picked it up. It was a pretty reasonable price. This is released after he passed away. I think he passed away pretty early. I don't remember I don't know the story. He was like ill or what, but so I think that this is I believe it's fully live. I know it's from 3 sessions, and I know the first session for sure. I remember that was live. I think they're all live, but they're all from different dates. Yeah, it's really good. I mean, it's different. It's kind of bluesy. Like, it's got some flute. It's got some songs have a lot of space. Some a little bit groovier. Yeah, just this is an awesome record. Yeah, I need to. This is the only one I have from him. I should dig into him a bit more, but this is a really cool. I don't have a ton of live records either. So yeah. Next one is a supergroup. As I say, I don't have a lot of live albums. The next one's a live album. I just picked this up pretty recently. This is Charles Lloyd, Forest Flower at Monterey. I don't know, it's hard to do a supergroup for jazz. But I specifically was thinking about something where I picked it up because I saw the lineup. And I remember seeing the lineup on this and I was like, damn. And I picked it up. It has Charles Lloyd on tenor sax, Keith Jarrett on piano, Cecil McBee on bass, and Jack DeJohnette on drums. So I saw that lineup and I was like, man, I gotta buy it. And this record's like so cheap. And I don't know, I hesitate because I don't really like, I prefer like studio albums, but yeah, this it's just so good. Yeah. So it's not like free jazz or anything. It's kind of like high intensity, kind of like good. I don't know if you call it bop or I'm not so good at the classifications, but yeah. So that is supergroup. Next one is, let's see, favorite artist sideman. So I went with Live Evil, Miles Davis, and sideman is Hermeto Pascoal. I mentioned on the Airto record, he's probably my favorite Brazilian jazz musician. And I don't know too many other American albums he's on, American artists. But he plays, I don't even know what he plays here. He probably plays piano. I mean, he's like a musical genius. He plays so many instruments. Here he goes. He plays trumpet on here. And he wrote 2 tracks. I think he wrote Celine, and he wrote, what was the other one? I don't know, but he plays trumpet on Celine, and he usually plays piano, but he'll play sax, and he's just a beast. Hermeto Pascoal. I got a bunch of his albums. He's good. Yeah, this is a thick record. There we go. I love the cover, man. It's just, I mean, Miles has got some iconic covers for sure. I almost pulled out Bitches Brew for Supergroup. I don't remember. There's a ton of people there. And my cover's actually pretty trash. I have a really terrible copy. That's the record I definitely need to find an upgrade. It's been so close so many times. Let's see. Album More Should Know. I scored this in a jazz collection. Well, it's been a while, 3 or 4 years ago maybe. This is Luis Bonfa Jacaranda, and I don't know. For me, I'm associated more with like those kind of like Stan Getz, João Gilberto records. But this thing just cooks. I mean, he's so fantastic. He's a guitar player, and it's kind of like, it's Brazilian, but it's like groovy and a little bit, he almost gets a little bit kind of in like classical territory sometimes. Yeah, and it's, I like the way that the songs progress. Like, there's a lot of, like, you know, a build up and stuff. And this thing is just, this record is just fire. It's so good. Actually, it was pretty cheap. Now it's starting to pick up a little bit in price. But yeah, I don't know. I've never really, I think I've seen one person on the VC show it, but I don't see too many people talk about this or even post it online or whatever. But yeah, I think more people should know about this. This is definitely for me the highlight in these Bonfa's catalog. The next one is an artist that should be bigger, and this is, I guess, this is what we're listening to. I guess he's probably not that big because he's from Argentina. This is Jorge Lopez Ruiz, but his catalog's so deep. I have two of them. This one's a little bit later. This one's from, I think it's from like 77, 78. It's kind of got a little bit of fusion-y, but still so good. Yeah, he's got like 4 or 5 records on my want list. Well, I mean, total, I don't have the original, so I probably have like 4 of his records on my want list, and it's just like, he's got some classics. Like, his stuff's kind of expensive, just because I don't think it's from Argentina and it wasn't really that many pressed. But yeah, I don't really hear anybody talk about this. I've seen some people, a couple people I follow on Instagram maybe post it once or twice, but yeah, his music is fantastic. I mean, this is what we're listening to. It's so good. Next one, I think this is a vocal. Yeah, I'm getting to the end here. Number 18, vocals, and it's 27 minutes. Yeah, I should wrap it up. This is, I don't have too many vocal jazz. I know a lot of people I follow, not a lot of people like vocal jazz. But this is Amado Miata. This is Brazilian, 1972. This is the repress. The original is like really, really pricey. But yeah, this is really good. This is like jazz, soul. It's like, yeah, kind of like soul jazz, but it's like, I mean, I say call it vocal jazz because he just sings, so he doesn't play any other instruments. But yeah, it's really good. I mean, it's like I said, if you're into like Brazilian groovy, definitely check this out. I mean, the original is super rare. Actually, I don't know. I just found out he started his own record label, like in the late 70s, and I've only heard one of the albums on there, but it's really good. I think he only did release like 3 or 4 records. So I want to check out a little bit more of his label. Yeah, but this is a one and done. He only put out 1 album. But yeah, I don't really like vocal jazz that much, but that one's really good. And let's see, no one talks about what I love. So I don't really like Stan Getz that much, but this record is really good. This is Captain Marvel, and the lineup, and this is like fusion. And the lineup's really good. I mean, you got I think Tony Williams is on the drums, and you got Airto Moriera, of course, on percussion. Stanley Clark on bass, Chick Corea electric piano. So yeah, and then obviously Stan Getz on the sax. But yeah, I don't know. I don't hear anybody really talk about this record. And I'm not a big Stan Getz person. But I forget the question was. Anyway, there's a couple of questions that were sort of similar, so it's hard to distinguish. But yeah, this record is dope. And let's see, there's only a couple questions left. Something I want to find 2022. I don't know. I kind of like just bumping into stuff. I'm going to Brazil next month. There's a couple of Brazilian records jazz records I definitely pull the trigger on. Os Empanadas, which is like a kind of like a Bahian leaning record, which is really good. Bahian's like kind of percussion heavy and very spacey and kind of like spiritual, but not spiritual jazz, but just Bahian's like a spiritual place. Another one's Mandala, which is kind of a mix between like jazz and progressive rock, which is super rare. But I will find it. If I find it in Brazil, I'll definitely buy that. So those are a couple, I guess, I've probably done it for. Hopefully get one of the two next month. Release or reissue in 2022. I don't know. I really don't have anything. I can't think of anything. Like I said, I don't really buy reissues, and I can't think of anybody who's going to be. I mean, I've been digging Muriel Grossman, so I'm sure she'll release something 2022. I'll probably pick it up. Or what's the guy's name? The guy on Piano Records, Sven Wonder. I've been picking up all his stuff, so if he puts out something, I think he's working on something, I'll probably pick that up. Last one, House Fire. If I had a house fire, my house is just burning to the ground. What jazz record would I save? And I just kind of went with this one. This is Maseru Imada Trio +2, Green Caterpillar. I just bought this one. I just got it a few months ago. I picked this is the original. Has the booklet and the OBI like near mint. I picked it probably because I mean, is it my favorite jazz record? I don't know. It's definitely up there for sure. I mean, I paid a lot of money for it. It's definitely my most expensive one I ever bought. Probably my most valuable. It'd probably be the most difficult to replace, especially in this condition. I've never seen one like near mint, like just perfect. So I'd probably grab this just because I could rebuild the rest of the collection, sort of maybe. I don't know. I probably wouldn't want to. I'd be depressed. Like hats off to Steve Carlson for rebuilding his collection. I would just be. Anyways, but yeah, that's it. Thanks, Chris. I mean, if you're watching my channel, you know Chris. He's got a large following. Shows some amazing records, some grails. I do like the kind of the more traditional stuff he shows. I like stuff that has a little bit more of an edge. But Chris, obviously, he shows the whole gambit and so much good stuff. Always like not always, but a lot of originals. So I love watching his channel. If you haven't and you don't know him and you watch my channel, which I highly doubt, definitely check him out. Anyways, cheers. Happy Vinyl Tag 2022.